Hello everyone, it's Alex here today.
And I'm saying subscribe.
He's from Sam Blasty Films, and we are here doing our review of Godzilla 2014. Oh my god, we got back in the theater last night. That was one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Now this is a spoilerific review, so if you don't want any spoilers about the movie, turn this review off right now! Right now!
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, right now. And now. So, the movie. What do you think about it? Was it one of the best Godzilla movies that ever come out of the theater?
I really have to say, next to GMK, is my second favorite Godzilla movie.
This is my favorite Godzilla movie ever. Let me just adjust it a little bit so you can see my face.
First off, it's a new freaking Godzilla movie. Second off, they bring
Here, can you move the Jack Pacific figure? Yeah, we have all our Godzilla figures around me. We have over here we have Atomic Roar. Oh, that looks awesome.
Oh my god, it really does.
We have Smash Strike. We took these two to the theater last night.
Yeah, and I took my plush.
My little brother has a plush Godzilla that he took to the theater. Oh yeah, we have pictures and some video. We had some pictures. I'll put on a picture on the screen now of some things that we saw there. Like there was a Godzilla marquee thing nearby the theater where we were. So there's a picture of that. And also we have a picture of what the theater looked like. It's sort of a dim photo, but you could see it. So so the film starts off like, oh sorry, I dropped my mic there. So the film begins like this. It's 1954, and it begins with it's hard to explain, like CIA, how if you've ever written like in the old seen like a CIA document, it's all whited, blacked out in some parts. It's like that with the credits. Remember that?
Yeah, like little clips.
And there's clips playing of like you see the USS Nautilus and stuff. Which yeah. And this guy, we see him quite a bit in the opening. He's like swimming around. You see his fins swimming around, and
you see his face.
Yeah, and then you see the nuke go off. That was in the trailer. You see the nuke with the Ghostbusters thing. The Ghostbusters joke in there. I don't know why we did that, but anyway, but after that, the film begins at a mine shaft in the Philippines. 1999, Dr. Serizawa, played by Ken Watanabe, appears. Yes, Serizawa from Godzilla King of the Monsters and Godzilla and Gojira.
Godzilla.
Yeah, I'm wearing this is the shirt I wore to the theater.
One second. I'm wearing the same shirt too.
Yeah, we're wearing the same shirts we wore to the theater last night. So you may have noticed the last video. I never changed out of it.
I just got bored.
I'm trying to think what happens next. Oh yeah, they go in this mine shaft. They go inside this mine that accidentally collapsed. They into this huge cavern. And they're digging around and they see a skeleton of Godzilla. They say, "Is it Gojira?" And they're like, and the person's like, "Is it Gojira?" Is my chair all crooked? Oh my god, my chair's all crooked.
No. I can't see myself. Please move this.
Yeah, he's bigger than.
I'm big on the food chain.
But the film, basically they see this mine shaft. They see the skeleton, then they see they see a spore. It's dormant. But there's another one that's hatched. And you're like, what? And then you see this humongous hole, and then we cut to Japan, Janjiro, Japan, 1999, where we meet Ford Brody as a kid, Bryan Cranston as Joe Brody, and Ellie Brody. I forget who she's played by.
No, it's Sandra.
Sandra Bully. Or Brody. Sorry. Why am I going to confuse that? I mean, that's the name of the guy from Jaws. Off topic there. They work at a power plant called Janjiro. Okay? Janjiro. So, we saw those in the trailer. We saw them in the power plant in the trailers. He's wearing that business suit with the blue tie that he has.
It looks like a tent.
And basically, during the scene, there's an attack. He's talking to those people. He sees, in his house, they're in the house, and they're talking about, these seismic activities that's been going on. And you saw the image in the trailer, what it looked like, that weird thing that has something to do related to Mutos, we'll explain later. And he sees it just before the Mutos attack. Just before, I'm assuming with the Muto attacks the place, and he's just there. He's standing there looking.
And for some reason...
And then this humongous... A reactor breach has happened. And and his wife and a bunch of other people are running down the hall towards the door, towards the emergency exit. Sorry, my chair's all crooked today.
Let me say something.
What?
They totally put a cliche of the birthday death cliche.
Yeah. Hold on. We'll be right back. And we're back. I'm sorry about that. Someone was in our house. We're supposed to be alone today doing our review.
Yeah.
Where were we? We were at the power plant. Yeah. Around this time when the power plant thing happened, I had an alarm set on my MP3 player, and actually the alarm.
You have to tell you personal things, Alex.
The alarm is still there. As you see, it's 00. I had set at 7:30. The movie started at 7. It went off in the middle of that scene, so that was kind of annoying, and I couldn't shut it off. I was like, it's so laggy. I'm like trying to shut it down. It wouldn't shut up. I'm like covering the speakers. I'm like, shut up. So yeah, that was kind of annoying. Sorry if the microphone's kind of weird sounding right now. As you see, the mic's right there. But
let's do a review on the stream.
Maybe. But the film, there's an attack, and the door's shut, and as he's looking, as the doors are closed, he's like crying. Bryan Cranston's crying. And he looks out in the window, and he sees his wife looking at him through the glass. It's really touching. It's really sad. Seeing his wife die right in front of him. Then the movie cuts to 15 years later, where we meet Aaron Taylor Johnson as Ford Brody, all grown up. The power plant's been destroyed, by the way. And he has just got back from I believe he's a bomb diffuser.
No.
He's a bomb diffuser in the film. That was his thing. And he just got back from the Navy for like, I think he said 14 months.
Yeah, 14 months.
Yeah, 14 months in the in the military, and he just got back.
Hey, do you know
They're in San Francisco, and that night he's talking to his kid, which I forget his name. Sam Brody. That's it. Sam Brody.
Yeah, okay.
It was Sam Brody. That's his name. It was all Brodies and his wife Ellie Brody. They were all there, and they were talking, and Ellie Brody gets a phone call. Joe Brody, his father Bryan Cranston, has been arrested in Japan
for going into the Q zone.
The Q zone is the place where Janjiro was, and after he's released from prison, he explains that he was trying to get back to their old house because these seismic activities that he saw at Janjiro back 15 years before were happening again. And so they go to the Q zone. They break into the Q zone.
The quarantine zone.
They break in, and by the way, I may mention this. The soundtrack for the movie is amazing. I'm one of those nerds who love soundtracks. Sorry about that. I'm one of those nerds who friggin' love soundtracks. So when I heard the soundtrack for this movie, it was awesome. I loved every second of it. And so the movie was great. Every second of this film was great. So basically, they're in the Q zone. They go to their house. They were able to go in there, and they were able to see this stuff. And it's a really touching scene when you see the sign that says "Happy Birthday, Dad" for Joe Brody that Ford Brody put up 15 years before that. And it was a really touching scene. I was hurt. And oh yeah, by the way, I might mention this. There's a Godzilla reference in there. So people have already pointed this out. I saw it in the theater. I just noticed it immediately, and my friend who came with us at the theater next to us noticed it as well. We were sitting there watching the movie, and on this tank. What is it? Tank? It has like a moth on it, and it said Mothra. I swear to God, you can look it up. It says Mothra on the tank. I'm not kidding. I'm not crazy. It did say Mothra. Okay? He doesn't believe me. My dad doesn't believe me. It said Mothra. Me and my friend saw it. We'll be probably going to see the movie again, and they'll see it. All right. Here. Sorry. Someone's at our house. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Yes, sir. Alright, we're gonna have to cut that. And we're back again. Sorry, jump cut. We had to have. One of my parent was. One of our dad was leaving. Get that out of here. So basically, where were we? We were at the Q zone. We were in the thing. Ford Brody sees an action figure. That'll come into play later in the film. So they're walking around the Q zone, and they see the place where Janjiro was. And Ford Brody says, "Are they rebuilding the plant?" and they get arrested. And they get arrested by Japanese police, and they're taken to Janjira. Which, when they get there, if you watch the trailers of the movie, I'm sorry if there's like a glare in my glasses, by the way. I noticed there's a glare on the webcam that I'm recording off of. What was it? I noticed that you may notice the cocoon thing that we saw, and it turns out it's an egg. It's like this big spore, okay? And this big fight. I mean, like that scene that happened with Bryan Cranston with the speech that he has. It take us back to the Stone Age EMP disruption crap that he was talking about happens there, and then they arrive. And know what the truth is? He's right. Then this thing starts like going insane. The machine starts going crazy.
No,
the spore starts going nuts.
Then
they try to kill it using electric shocks, but that doesn't work. Somebody shines a flashlight inside. It was a jump scare scene, and a hook came out. It was Muto. He comes out. Awesome scene, by the way. One of my favorite scenes in the movie.
For some reason, he crushes. This is like the only Godzilla monster that eats people.
Yeah, he eats people for some reason. It's kind of funny. People. It's kind of weird, but he starts eating nuclear stuff. That'll come into play a little bit later. And during this scene, now this is where the humongous spoiler comes in. Joe Brody's on a bridge, and the Muto pulls the bridge down because it's attached to wires that are attached to the Muto, and the bridge falls, severely injuring Joe Brody. The next morning, police arrive and ambulances and everything, and Serizawa is asked, "Do you need a team?" And he sees Brody and Joe Brody getting in an ambulance, and they say them. They're being airlifted, and in this scene, this is where the humongous spoiler comes in. Joe Brody dies. He dies, like in the middle of the helicopter ride off.
Last 9 seasons when Joe Brody only lasts.
He lasts about an hour, half an hour, 45 minutes. Died. He died. And then they have this humongous speech. They have this speech in the film. The Nature Has an Order speech. And they're explaining what's going on with the Muto. Basically, it came from the mine from the Philippines, and it traveled all the way to Janjira. Not sure how it didn't get detected or not.
I know. It's like I'm losing track of Godzilla 98.
Yeah, but it was camping out in Janjira. By the way, the Muto spore was on the Janjira power plant. Like literally, you could see the word Janjira on one of the towers. You saw like the cooling towers. What are they? Those nuclear towers. I'm not sure what they're called. Don't call me an idiot. I just can't get the word out right now.
He's just not an engineer.
Yeah, I'm not. Okay. But okay. So they're on the USS Saratoga. Then they meet the Muto headquarters thing.
Muto.
Even though it's not called Muto, I think it's called Monarch in the movie.
Yeah, it's called Monarch.
There's no organization called Muto in the film, which is weird. There's a website for it. I even did a video about it a few months ago, like a month or two ago. I did a video about it.
Yeah.
And that's still okay. But yeah, it was kind of weird. And then before Brody gets a plane, gets told to he's taken to Honolulu, and he is told to get on a plane back to San Francisco. And he calls up his family, and he said he can't contact them, but he says, "I'm on my way home." And this is where if you followed this movie, you know that there was a scene that leaked at a convention called WonderCon back a long time ago, like back this April. A scene leaked from the movie, and this is the scene. It's basically this little kid gets trapped on this train. He accidentally gets on the train before his parents do. So he's stuck there. He's for Brody. Aaron Taylor Johnson. I'll call him Aaron Taylor Johnson in the film for now. Is talking to him. He gives him the little ash figure he got from the Q zone. By the way, there is no radiation. So if you're wondering, there was no radiation. It was clean, and basically a blackout happens because the Muto is out in the jungle right behind Honolulu, and he's attacked a Russian sub. For some reason, it's now stuck in the middle of the jungle, right? Mm-hmm. It's stuck out in the middle of the jungle, and
it's like
basically what's happening is the Muto is eating the nuclear energy. That's what he does. He's absorbing the radiation. Same with Godzilla. He's absorbing radiation. Trying to think. Yeah, and he puts his hook down and it creates this huge EMP disruption that like shuts all the power off in the entire city. The entire city goes into a huge blackout.
It kind of reminds me of that one monster. It kind of reminds me of Leatherback from Pacific Rim when he roars.
Yeah, it is. It's like that. It's like that. It's just like that monster from Pacific Rim. He's. Why is my shirt on myself? Like it's like that scene on Pacific Rim with that monster, that weird monster.
That's what you are like.
I know, but basically, what happens next is the tidal wave scene. If you watch the WonderCon footage, and Godzilla goes underneath the boat. The music's different and the audio is different than what it was on the WonderCon footage. So if you see the movie before, and if you watch the WonderCon footage, then you saw the movie, it was like, what? I was a little confused. And plus they changed some shots around, like the subway car was different than it was in the WonderCon footage. I like the WonderCon one personally myself. But I like that one. It was just kind of... And then this. Then Muto is on... The power comes back on. This is where someone mentioned a plot hole I saw on the website, on Godzilla 2014 website I follow. I'll put that... I wish the movie was still going, but I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to check out this site. This is probably a 2-part video by now, and I only have like 50 minutes, so this will be cut, obviously, but... So, the attack happens, Muto destroys some stuff, and then Godzilla comes, puts his foot down, quite literally puts his foot down. He's like this, just... humongous foot comes down on these airplanes, right? And then the Muto turns, screams at Godzilla. Then you see Godzilla step, and then you see him stand there and just start roaring. And then it cuts to San Francisco. It's Sam Brody. I'm not sure the actor's name. Sam Brody watching. I'll just call him Sam or Sam Brody. I'm not sure. Yeah, but during the scene, there's an attack. Basically, the fight. This is a cop out, in my opinion. They didn't show the fight that much in Honolulu. You only see it on a TV screen, and it keeps on cutting away to his parents. I'm like, what the frick? Go back to the fighting. Go back to the fighting. And the fighting looked awesome. The fighting looked amazing, didn't it, Sam? Godzilla was like holding the Muto, was like all over his head and everything. It looked awesome. And he retreats. Honolulu's destroyed, and Sam goes to bed. By the way, he was told to go to bed. I'm trying to think, like, the next morning, they're in Honolulu, so move. Scoot over just a little bit.
I can't even see me anymore.
Yeah, you can.
Barely. He's like half.
You're over on the screen. No, you can be seen.
This is good.
But, sorry. He's not paying attention to the webcam video that I'm looking at right now. Trying to think. After the Honolulu attack, there's a scene where, the kid, I'm pretty sure his name was Ishiro, but it was not mentioned in the film. It's a reference to Ishiro Honda from the original Godzilla, the director of the first Godzilla. It meets up with his family again. He gets reunited with his family. What happened next? Oh yeah, they were on the air. They were back on the aircraft carrier, and they're talking, and then they realize something. There was another spore. The one that was dormant in the Philippines, they said it hatched, and they said. And Sarazawa realized where they put all the nuclear waste is only a few miles away from Las Vegas in the Nevada desert in the mountain. I don't remember what mountain it was, but it was it was a recognizable name. I just can't put my finger on it. So go see the movie to know what it is. But they're searching all these things, and then all of a sudden they're looking, and then there's they start checking all these things. They slide open these little doors and they look inside, and one of them had like this gleaming sunshine looking through. So they opened it up. There's a humongous hole. Like the whole place has been destroyed. I was thinking like, so they didn't notice this before.
I know.
Before this, so.
It's like this huge mountain.
Yeah, I mean like it was this huge hole in it, and then the Muto starts. Someone pulls up binoculars and they see the Muto. Hang on. Let me grab the figures for you to give you an idea. There's 2 Mutos that we've seen. The one that hatched out of the mountain in Las Vegas was this guy right here. And the one that attacked Godzilla in Honolulu was this guy, the winged Muto.
This is the femme Muto, the female Muto.
Yeah, basically what's going on is that there's 2 different Mutos. This one is the male Muto. Male. Female. Sorry, I keep on doing that. So we have male and female. They start attacking Las Vegas. By the way, in the Asian trailer it says Japan attacked by 6.3 earthquake. Well, in the actual film, it's different. Basically, it says Las Vegas under attack, and it has a shot of the Muto walking down the Las Vegas Strip. So it looks hilarious. It looks kind of funny. The power goes out, and then a hook comes crashing through the casino that was in the Asian trailer, and it pulls back to see that it's a Muto. Quit chewing on the Godzilla.
My butt.
But yeah, they attack. The Las Vegas is destroyed as well. And what happened next? I don't remember. Oh yeah, they try to attract all three monsters. Godzilla, which is here. The Mutos. They try to attack these monsters.
Oh yeah, by the way, the winged Muto is called Hawk Muto,
and this one's called Fem Muto.
Fem Muto.
The 8-legged one, I would say, is the 8-legged. Because there are 8 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 legs. It's 8 limbs. So, they try and attract them with a nuclear bomb, and they're on a train. Okay, and in this scene, this is where it gets kind of interesting. If you remember from the trailer, It Can't Be Stopped, the TV spot, the shot on the train with the train's on fire, what's going on actually is the Muto attacks the train. The Muto destroys it too.
It's holding the nuke.
Yeah, it attacks the train first, and collapses the bridge. It's this one too. Here, hang on. Here, Annie, be quiet. Sorry, our dog's in here. During the scene, what's going on is, hang on. What's going on, basically? Yeah, Sam's right there. It's okay. Get up. Get up. Hang on. Jump cut. And we're back again. I'm sorry.
Finally.
We're back again. Probably the final stretch of it. They're attracted. Muto eats the train car. They eat the train. And then they go to San Francisco. They're evacuating the entire west coast of They're evacuating the entire San Francisco. And they realize Godzilla and the Muto are gonna battle in San Francisco. And they realize Godzilla probably is gonna make landfall in nearby the Golden Gate Bridge. There's people still on the bridge, including Sam Brody, Ellie Brody, Brody, Aaron Taylor Johnson's wife, put Ford on the bus, on evacuation bus to get out of the city. Sam Brody, yeah, to get him out of the city. Sorry if I said Ford. I'm sorry. It's confusing. And Godzilla makes landfall there. He appears, and it's a cool scene. Trust me, it's awesome, isn't it? And then the fight begins. The door is shut, and as the Mutos as Godzilla begins to attack the winged Muto. By the way, the winged Muto is not this big in the movie. He's pretty small. He's like tiny in comparison to Godzilla. He is freaking puny. I'm not sure. But sorry, we woke up like an hour or two ago. We're still kind of tired, and we're just kind of.
And I stayed up till like 12 last night. I couldn't go to sleep.
And basically, the fight continues on, and then it's nighttime, and they decided to do a Halo drop. They decided to do the Halo drop that was in the teaser, and so what they're doing is they're falling in, and the Colonel tells Ford that this is a non-return mission. They're probably gonna die during this mission, and as they're falling, they fall into the city. They see the monsters fighting each other. And it's a pretty awesome scene. The Halo jump was pretty cool and pretty epic. Seeing the drop, wasn't it, Sam?
It was way more than it was in the teaser trailer.
Yeah. And then you see the Mutos fighting, and then in one probably the coolest surprises ever, this one appears, and the two meet each other, and I'll tell you one thing. This monster is freaking enormous. It's Godzilla size. Literally, it's the size of Godzilla. This one, when I first saw him, I thought it was a brother, like it was a mother and son thing. At first, when I first saw it, I thought it was mother-son. I'm like, holy shit, the winged one's tiny. In comparison to the toy, where he's the actual size of Godzilla. He's the size of the monster. See? Look at that. They're roughly the same size.
I would have liked it if the Winged Muto was that size.
But the Winged Muto dies pretty quickly. He dies in the final battle. Basically, the two start beating on Godzilla, and he gets his ass kicked. Doesn't he? Godzilla gets his ass kicked during this scene.
By the way, this is for Goji Fan 93. If you do another hardest enemies, I would put Muto at
I put the Mutos in there because they kick Godzilla's ass.
I think
pretty bad.
At number 3
until the winged one died. And oh yeah, by the way, during this whole time the reason they did the drop was they had to extract a nuke that was set with a clockwork thing, so they couldn't like disable it because the EMP.
For some reason,
and hang on, hey, I'm talking. So they disabled the nuke. With the clockwork thing, they try and disable it, and they get it out of there. And what's going on in this scene is basically, okay, this is actually a pretty awesome scene. It reminded me of like out of an action movie. Will you stop? This reminded me out of an action scene. Basically, Godzilla's attacking. The Fem attacking Godzilla's getting his ass kicked. Aaron Taylor Johnson knocks a gas truck open, and the gas gets poured into the hole where the Muto spore is. Stop! Seriously, Sam, you're gonna distract the review. Sorry about that. They throw gasoline in there, and then I believe there's a fire that starts it up and blows the whole spore to bits. Literally, it's burned to a crisp. It's an awesome scene. And then this one realizes it and goes walking towards it and looks in, and you see Aaron Taylor Johnson actually got blown back by the explosion. He's has a broken leg or something in the scene. Yeah, his leg's all effed up, and he's crawling. He's sitting there by a truck or a car, and the Muta comes down right at him and looks right at him. And then I don't remember what happened next. Oh yeah, right then, this is probably this is the best scene in the movie, in my opinion. In the background, you see Godzilla's tail flick by with some blue light going out of it. And then the camera turns around, you see Godzilla's fins starting to light up, and literally my friend who was there with me in the theater went, oh my god, we were all back there just freaking out, man, because it's Godzilla's fire breath coming out, just oh god. Sorry if the audio is kind of low, by the way, but and boom, it comes, and it's so awesome, isn't it? It was oh, just this humongous, this fire comes out of his mouth, blows the Muta back. By the way, the winged one dies in a pretty cool way. He it's kind of a weird death, but he gets knocked by Godzilla's tail into a building and gets impaled, according to how Kamakura died in Final Wars idea, how he was impaled. And for some reason, when I saw that scene, it reminded me of that scene out of Godzilla Monster King Ghidorah, Monsters on Attack, also known as GMK, where Godzilla hits Baragon and shoots him across the sky and hits a helicopter. Reminded me of that for some reason. So as the fight continues on, finally, what's going on is, it seems like Godzilla, I think Godzilla falls down and he gets a building falls on Godzilla and he's all in, he looks in, he actually sits there, he puts his hand down and he actually looks at Aaron Taylor Johnson. He looks it's sad. I mean, honestly, you see him disappear into the dust. It's a pretty tragic scene. And then all the military men from the Halo jump seem to die. A lot of them die in the scene. I think all of them do, right? Except for Aaron Taylor Johnson because he got lucky. Sam, focus. And then they get on the boat. And he's trying to disarm the nuke, so what he does is basically he turns on autopilot and just starts driving to the harbor. And then it stopped, and the winged Muto, this Muto is sitting there looking at him. He's sitting there, and Aaron Taylor Johnson pulls out his pistol and starts aiming it at the Muto. So, as the Muto is being aimed at, oh my god, basically this is the coolest thing that's ever happened. Godzilla eats, he attacks the Muto, bites it like this, bites it right here, picks up the Muto, rips its jaw open and then starts breathing fire in it. Remember that? It was just inside, and literally it decapitated, it melted the Muto's neck and decapitated the head. And so, and Godzilla throws the head down, and Aaron Taylor Johnson's gets all like, I'm not sure what happens. I think he passes out or something,
Mhm.
or he just got so badly injured that
he
he almost falls unconscious.
I think he goes ill. I think.
Yeah, and in that scene, you had the camera was sideways, but you can see that Godzilla collapses onto the city streets, and I was like, what's going on? And then an airlift happens, and they get pulled up, and Godzilla and the and Aaron Johnson gets pulled up into the helicopter. Then the next morning comes around, and oh yeah, by the way, that nuke went off. I was thinking like, it's not gonna destroy the city, but it didn't. And the next morning, Aaron Taylor Johnson, I'm trying to think what happened next. Oh yeah, Godzilla's lying there. He looks. I was thinking, is he dead? He's sitting there looking dead. Seagulls are picking at him, and then all of a sudden, as they're recovering and everything, then as they're rescuing civilians, all of a sudden, his nose, like, he breathes. Godzilla breathes. And as Aaron Johnson comes out into the San Francisco football stadium, I believe it was, he looks up, and he sees on the screen, it says, "The King of the Monsters, Savior of our city," and you see Godzilla getting up. He gets up and starts walking away with the track back to the ocean from the Godzilla soundtrack playing. And let me tell you, I almost cried because I was like, "Oh my God, he's alive!" Because we really thought he was dead. He thought he was dead. I thought he was dead. My friend thought he was dead. My dad thought he was dead. And when he got up, oh my God. I mean, it was a touching scene. It was really, wasn't it?
They left it open for a Godzilla 2.
He goes into the ocean.
Which I hope
And,
they make.
and no, by the way, Ellie Brody meets up with Sam and Ford again. They're all happily. They live happily ever after. Godzilla goes into the sea, and the film ends. And then in the theater, this is probably the most amazing moment ever. Everyone got up and started clapping. Everyone in the theater just got up and started clapping. Remember that, Sam?
Mhm.
Everyone just started clapping their heads off. It was exciting. It was an awesome movie. Every second of it. So that's Godzilla 2014 for you. By far, one of the best Godzilla movies that's ever come out. I'm not sure why everyone was complaining, but the pre-screeners were saying that Aaron Taylor Johnson was pretty bad. I enjoyed him. He was great.
Yeah.
I liked him. He was a good actor. He was a good character. I liked it. I liked Ford Brody. My favorite character in the movie was Joe Brody. Personally, I loved Joe Brody.
He's kind of goes that crazy maniac feel.
I'm one of those people who loves conspiracies and stuff. I love like 9/11 conspiracies, so no wonder I liked them. So we will be leaving you guys now. So
Bye.
see you guys. Long live the king. He has returned. Goodbye, everyone.